Dr. Zixtharian had spent 3 decades studying xenobiology across 17 star systems. The Valerian professor prided himself on his meticulous cataloging of dietary requirements for every sentient species in the Galactic Council. His laboratory aboard the research station Harmony's Promise contained the most advanced food analysis equipment in known space. When humanity joined the Council, Zixtharian volunteered immediately to analyze their nutritional needs. Humans were fascinating, bipedal mammals from a death world with catastrophically high oxygen levels and unstable tectonic plates. Their preliminary data suggested a diet of simple proteins and carbohydrates. Straightforward enough. The first human assigned to his research team was Richard Chun, a young xenobotanist with an easy smile and an alarming tendency to describe dangerous situations as pretty cool. Zixtharian had prepared a comprehensive meal plan, synthesized proteins, bland starches, and purified water. Safe, predictable, scientifically sound. Richard had politely eaten the provided meals for exactly 3 days before asking if he could bring lunch from home. Absolutely not. Zixtharian's translator chip rendered his clicking mandibles into standard galactic. All consumables must be analyzed for toxicity, pathogenic content, and biochemical compatibility with station life support systems. Sure thing, Doc, Richard had said cheerfully. I'll bring it by tomorrow morning. Jessica from the navigation deck said she'd pack extra. That should have been Zixtharian's first warning. The next morning, Richard arrived at the lab carrying a small insulated container. The professor's sensory stalks twitched with scientific curiosity as he directed the human to place the container in the analysis chamber. This is a Mark 7 molecular scanner, Zixtharian explained, gesturing with 3 of his 6 limbs. It can identify every compound down to the atomic level and assess potential. The scanner's display flickered red, then orange, then began cycling through colors that shouldn't have existed in standard chromatic databases. Curious, Zixtharian muttered, adjusting the settings. Perhaps a calibration error. Richard leaned against the lab table, grinning. That's just Jessica's cooking document. She makes the best buffalo wings this side of Sol. Buffalo wings. Zixtharian's translator struggled with the term. You consume the appendages of Earth's bovine species? What? No, they're chicken wings. Buffalo is the style. Wait, you know what? Just scan it. The professor initiated a deep scan. The chamber hummed, energy readings spiking as coherent light bathed the container. The scanner's AI began populating a list of detected compounds. Capsaicin, 16 million Scoville heat units. Zixtharian's chromatic skin paled to a sickly gray. This is impossible. Capsaicin at these concentrations is classified as a chemical weapon by the Draxian Empire. Richard shrugged. Jessica likes her hot sauce. These are the mild ones. The list continued scrolling. Acetic acid, vinegar pH 2.4 sodium content, 847% above recommended mammalian intake. Trans fats, present fermented bacterial cultures, active unidentified compound. Analysis failed. Zixtharian's voice rose an octave. The Mark 7 never fails. It can identify the molecular structure of dark matter residue. A small wisp of smoke curled from the scanner's ventilation port. Richard glanced at the machine. Is it supposed to do that? Before Zixtharian could respond, the scanner emitted a sound the professor had never heard in 30 years of operation. A confused, warbling beep that almost sounded like a mechanical whimper. The display showed one final message. Analysis inconclusive. Recommend immediate containment of sample. Then the screen went black. Your food just crashed a quantum molecular scanner, Zixtharian whispered, his translator barely functioning. The same device that successfully analyzed crystallized methane from the dark side of Proxima 7. The scanner that processed samples from inside an active volcano on Thermaxis Prime. Richard peered at the darkened machine. So, can I eat my lunch, or? Absolutely not. This substance is clearly hazardous waste. Zixtharian scuttled to his communication panel. I'm calling a hazmat team. Doc, relax. It's just buffalo wings. I eat them every week. Zixtharian's sensory stalks stood rigid with horror. You regularly consume chemical weapons coated in acid and sodium. Well, when you put it that way, it sounds bad. The lab door hissed open, and Jessica Rodriguez walked in, her navigation uniform pristine, carrying an identical container. "Hey, Richard, forgot to pack you a drink. Brought you some of that, oh." She noticed the smoking scanner. "Did you try to analyze the wings?" "The wings melted my scanner." Zixtharian's voice hit frequencies that shattered a beaker across the lab. Jessica and Richard exchanged glances. "Doc," Jessica said calmly, setting down her container. "Humans evolved on a death world. We literally poison ourselves for fun. Our food is supposed to be extreme. Our tongues have dedicated pain receptors that we've learned to interpret as pleasure," Richard added helpfully. "We bred plants to be more painful to eat. We ferment things until they're almost toxic, then call it aged," Jessica continued. "We eat literal poisoned fish in some cultures. We drink ethanol, a solvent, for recreation. We deep-fry butter. We what?" Zixtharian collapsed into his support chair. Jessica pulled out her personal datapad. "Look, I can send you my recipe if you want to update your databases. The wings are marinated for 6 hours in a mixture of NO." Zixtharian held up all 6 limbs defensively. "No recipes. I'm updating the human dietary file to read. Humans can and will consume substances that violate all known biological safety protocols. Do not attempt to analyze. Do not ask questions. Simply provide adequate fire suppression equipment in their dining facilities." Richard grinned and grabbed his lunch container from the smoking wreckage of the scanner. "So, I can eat this." Zixtharian made a sound like a defeated sigh crossed with a death rattle. "If you've survived this long eating such things, I suppose my scanner was the only casualty today." As the 2 humans left the lab, chatting cheerfully about whether ghost peppers or Carolina Reapers made better hot sauce base, Zixtharian stared at the smoking remains of his Mark 7 scanner. He opened a communication channel to the Galactic Council's Dietary Commission. "Subject: Humans," he dictated. "Amendment to Xenobiological Database. Humanity's greatest weapon is not their technology, their adaptability, or their tactical brilliance. It's their lunch. Recommend all species avoid human dining facilities, especially on Wing Wednesday." In the distance, he heard Richard's voice echo down the corridor. "Hey, Jessica, think the doc would want to try your Vindaloo curry next week?" Zixtharian quietly began browsing transfer requests to stations without human crew members. Some mysteries, he decided, were better left unanalyzed at the end.